First off, the best joke that uses the word shuttle and the word cock in the same joke, gotta be the same joke, down in the comments box, gets a prize. That's how we play here. Let me get this thing out of here. All right. There it is. Yeah, this is what we're gonna talk about. Maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm just OG, but I like a little hair down there. It's a terrible joke. I'm gonna give you an honest, direct, #real fishing review. Everybody say hi to Bog. Bog, you wanna be in the review too? Do you like hair down there? You actually have hair down there, don't you? Yeah. But I love fishing hair jigs. You guys have seen a couple videos of it. You're gonna overbreathe the video, dude. You guys have seen a couple of videos fishing some hair jigs over brush pile, over structure. It's a great way to catch bigs, especially when they're suspended or when they're in a funky mood, which i.e. usually it's because they're suspended or they're in a funky mood so they suspend. But I've talked about the jigs that I like to use, and I have just gotten the opportunity because you literally can't get these things. This is the Shuttlecock. Is from True Bass. My buddy Ryan Salzman makes it, and I'm not doing this video in a positive light because of him. I love you, Ryan, but you got to make good stuff, and then I'll talk about it because this thing is freaking awesome. It deserves the word cock in the title. This jig is insane, and I got a lot of hair jigs that I like. This one fits a certain purpose, but dude, sometimes you get like a bait that they just scarf. It's kind of the same style as other lures that you have. You know, it does about the same thing. You fish it in kind of the same manner, but for some reason they just annihilate it. This is that bait, and I'm gonna prove it to you. That's the whole best part. So I'm gonna show you a couple of video clips of me fishing this thing. Ironically, you cannot get this, and I lost the one that I had, so I'm showing you the clips now because I just got the last one on earth from Tackle Warehouse. So good luck trying to get one. But I'm gonna show you a couple fish clips of how I fish this thing and how they eat it, which is the stupidest thing ever. That's a big one. Coming up. Oh God, that's a big one. That's a big one, boys. And this fish, it might be actually the hair jig. This fish freaking scrunched it. This is that new hair jig from Salzman. Dude, this fish freaking annihilated that thing. Come here. Come here. There's a guy in a boat, like, just freaking off of me, and he's sitting here staring. Look at what this fish did to this hair jig. Salzman, you made a nice hair jig, dude. A fish freaking ate it. And I got a feeling we're gonna get another bite. That's the hair jig. That's the fish. All right, back you go. Peace out, homie. I did not get a good hook in him. I need to make sure that fish is hooked because he came up and just got it. Putting a little more pressure on him than I normally would because he just touched it. I didn't get a really good hook set. I only got 12-pound test. Oh God. Dude, that's another freaking 5.5, 6-pounder. And he had not, oh, is there a fish with, I can't even see the hair jig, dude. Dude, this hair jig is getting freaking squared, dude. That is crazy. Yeah, they smoked it, right? Like, I mean, like, annihilated it, dude. They choked it down. They actually ate it so well, I was a little concerned with throwing it in some places, because you know me, I'm kind of a, I don't know, I'm not like some eco crazy guy, but I want to take care of the fish. You know, I don't want to gut hook them. I don't want to hook them too deep. I want them to be okay. And the way they were eating this jig was absolutely insane. And I think there's a couple reasons, so let me show you. So let me pop this thing out of the container here. The first thing, and we talked about it in the other hair jig video, my favorite size hair jig to throw is a 5/8. And with no irony intended, this thing is a 5/8. I think a 5/8 90% of the time, down to say like about 12 feet of water, is your 100% go-to. Sometimes you got to go up to a 3/4, sometimes you got to go down to a half, but overall a 5/8. And I'm talking about structure jigs for largemouth. I kind of got to highlight that because when it comes to spotted bass or smallmouth, there's definitely some variation in that, but like summertime structure fishing. So the first thing, and we talked about it with some of the other hair jigs, we have that 90-degree line tie right there. For a hair jig, I think that is probably one of the most important things because it causes it to pendulum down correctly, and that's when you're getting a lot of your bites. Usually it's after you've kind of done the shh, and that bait is just kind of gliding to the bottom. That's when they suck it up, so that's why it's so important. But you can see right out of the package, this thing is a fluff, dude. It is like muffy fluff everywhere. It's gigantically tied. There's a lot of hair density in there. I don't know what kind of hair it is. I should have probably texted Ryan to ask him. But what I think it does, and when I was playing with it in the water, one of the most important parts of a hair jig is that fall, like we talked about. But one other cool part, and it actually works kind of with a scrounger, is how you can sort of stall it right before it falls. So basically what I'm talking about is you reel it kind of fast, and you have your rod tip at maybe a soft 45, and then you stop. And for just a second, that hair jig has just enough momentum to continue up, but it's not being pulled on anymore, so it kind of just like stalls. You do it with a scrounger a lot when you kind of reel it fast, and then you kind of hold it up for a second, and then it'll start to travel down. And the trick with this thing is, with all the hair on there, it actually causes it to stall longer than your classic or your normal standardized hair jig. And that's the biggest deal with this thing. It sort of floats for like a brief second at the top of that fast retrieve, and they smoke it when it's up there. That stalled sort of suspended moment, and granted, this is for more like suspended or fish up in the water column, but what it does is it literally just stops up there, and dude, like they can't handle it. I think it also undulates more because there is more hair tied on these than any other hair jig that I use or that I've seen. But at the same time, it's not super long and super large. Like it flares out and gets larger, but it's still a shorter, compact deal. It also includes, I'd say that's probably like a 3/0 hook, like a standard wire 3/0 hook. A lot of hair jigs that I've seen, and that's actually why I like that JTK hair jig. That's why I like the Cumberland hair jig. But a lot of the ones other than that I've seen, they overhook this bait. Like they put way too big of a hook on this thing. I'm fishing this on 12-pound fluorocarbon on a medium action 7.3 rod. It's the XD3 that I have right here. And it's not a soft rod, but it's a medium action rod. It's pretty soft. And what I want to happen is when the fish actually swipes at this or sucks it in and eats it, all I want to have to do is just reel up and have it get tight and just kind of slowly pull on the rod or just put pressure down on it. And I want that hook to penetrate. I don't want to have to feel them there and then set the hook, because they really do swipe at this thing. And oftentimes by the time you catch up with a fish that's ate it to go ahead and reel down and set the hook, that fish is blowing it out and dropped it already. But I like this thing. It is absolutely stupid. It comes in one color, so it makes everything absolutely simple. I'll put a link to it in Tackle Warehouse, down in the description box below. Like I said, there are none available. So this is probably the last one on earth, and I'm going to treat it very delicately. I'm going to pat it every night. If you like fishing hair jigs, though, try this thing. It's badass, dude. You need the other hair jigs because there's a time and place. I like the little smaller compact ones, sometimes because they sink faster. Sometimes I want that smaller presentation. But definitely if you have fish that are suspended up and you find that you can catch them by kind of stalling the bait or keeping the bait at a certain like level, this is a jig that will blow your freaking mind, dude. You can stall this thing. Like kind of like a plane, like the plane you don't want to be on. And it just sits there for like a half second and they will smoke it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you got any questions about hair jigs, this one or any of the other ones we talked about in that video a couple weeks ago, definitely drop them down in the comments box, and I want to see your jokes. Make sure your jokes include the word shuttle and the word cock. And they can be terrible and they can be good. I'm very curious to see it. And somebody gets a prize, right? But tight lines, we'll see you back out on the water. Everybody say bye to Bog. Bog! Say, what, do you see a fish over there? Goodbye, Bog. Later, guys.